So after I finished stabbing him with the letter opener, I said,
No, Malcolm, no.
oh,
shit. It's memorable.
Cannibalism before we even got on live.
Yeah, sorry.
That's so us.
Yeah, to a jury of my peers, that was a joke.
Like you have peers.
I like it. It could be an insult. It could be a compliment. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. How is everyone doing this week?
Happy Sunday, kids.
Hey, happy Father's Day for the
Happy Father's Day. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Say it again, Rory.
I said happy Father's Day to everyone it's relevant to, which is neither of you guys.
That is true.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is true. And we're trying to keep it irrelevant for a little while. Knock on something. Hey.
No, knocking on something is how you get kids.
Yep, also true.
Ew, Uncle Rory's talking gross again.
Yeah. Knocked up and knocked down aren't actually opposites. You know that, right?
Anyway,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Like it just went in a bunch of directions. Anyway, so today, aside from being interesting, we're today on how to be a Father's Day. We're talking about purpose. Why are you in the industry? Why do you do any of this stuff? And what do you think the importance is of having a clear purpose, expressing a purpose, if there's any importance at all? And then what do you think about the process of refining your purpose of doing this? So Rory, why are you here?
And how has your purpose changed?
So more or less deliberately misunderstanding the question.
As always.
This is why the last talk I did last Tuesday on Schreiber Guild and all that stuff hit so hard, is because I'm still here because I got really lucky a couple times when I needed to be lucky. And that's the only reason. And I can't take credit for it. All I can do is express gratitude and hope it never happens again. Those are so overall, approaching life as a gift that I didn't deserve. I didn't earn this, knowing that someday it's going to be taken away. And quote Epictetus, when my life is taken away, I have to treat it as a gift I never deserved in the first place. And go. The focus, and you guys are my friends, so we've been over this, and I'm going to say this and then drop it. I only feel right when I'm in service to something I think is greater than myself, and I'm doing dangerous or difficult things. And right now I'm basically retired, and that this is the close I've ever come to living without purpose. And it sucks so bad I cannot express it. It is a really dark place. So I know I need to come up with an answer. I don't have one for this stage of my life yet. I will, or else. And that's a literal or else. But that's where it is. I'm pretty much done on this subject now.
Paul, care to follow up?
No, not at all.
You guys should not start with me. You know that.
What's worse if we end with you, so there's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah, then people would have despair. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've talked about this before with you guys. I'm a very lucky individual, right? I stand on the shoulders of people who work their asses off, came from not as good situations, and I got to grow up in a pretty decent situation. Had some unfortunate things during childhood, but who the fuck hasn't? That part of life, right? And I happened upon something that I really love in the martial training, and love it so much that I see what it has done for me as making a change, and I really feel lucky that I get to help others with that same change. To borrow a quote from a gray bearded friend, making people stronger is better than letting people stay weak. Paraphrasing to a certain extent. I got to use that actually earlier this week already. So I said, weak people are kind of annoying to be around. Strong people are just generally cooler to be around. And the more strong people I make, the cooler my particular little world is. So that defines the majority of my purpose at this point in time. Mr. Rivers, now you got an easy one. That's an easy layup to follow.
My purposes here are twofold, going on three. One is to support people I like. Two, in no particular order. Two is to help people the way that I feel like this field helped me, because by the time I really discovered the serious section of self-defense and martial arts, I was kind of out of the woods. Like, I'd already, most of what was really had the potential to kill me, I'd already gone through. So it was more of putting things in perspective than it was survival, because the surviving part, for the most part, had already happened. With that said, so we had a call today for the Chiron cohort, and aside from the shameless plug, I'm not going to put them out there, but we had a call and somebody was talking about using the material to kind of work through his emotional, mental, and physical clutter to deal with some of the stuff that he knew had been festering for a while. And that, to me, was why I do this. Not him specifically, but just the potential for somebody to say, hey, I'm going to take this idea, and I don't give a shit what you meant by it. I'm going to take it and make my life better in my way, is why I do this, because that makes me feel like I'm not just screaming into a hurricane for no damn reason. And then the third piece that's kind of growing is to frame this stuff and bring this stuff to people who really need it. So the folk who haven't yet made it through that 18 to 25 demographic in certain backgrounds and in certain environments, what pieces can I take to them that they won't already know, or that they couldn't teach me pretty easily from their own experiences, and make it useful for them and make their lives more survivable and more enjoyable, and then help them have better mobility, not just to survive where they are, but to make it to other places. So how important do you think having a purpose specifically in this industry is? Is it important at all? Maybe it's all bullshit.
I'm going first this time.
Oh.
For no other reason than I just want to go first. Let me rephrase. For no other reason, I just don't want to follow Rory.
Fair.
In my particular segment of the industry, if you don't have a purpose, how the fuck are you going to justify 16-hour days? Like, I get up at 4:30 in the morning, and one of the things I remind myself is a quote from my instructor is, your lack of sleep is not your student's problem. Your bad Tuesday is not their problem. Your grouchy whatever is not their problem. Your job is to get up there. They're spending their time and their resources and their blood, sweat, tears, whatever it is, to show up and learn. And it's your privilege to be there. So don't screw it up. Take that responsibility and roll with it. So just to dovetail, we don't have a ton of time, but something you said, Malcolm. I sometimes feel a little guilty in taking pleasure in those moments in time where students come to you with oh, this happened and I did this, or I found myself thinking or feeling this way. And one of my things is I have to remind myself no, that's a win. I should enjoy that. We talk all the time about defining wins and being better about defining wins. I occasionally don't feel guilty about that. That's why you do this. But I do feel guilty of oh, that was a big forward movement.
Rory, what about you?
Yeah, it's I say all the time that clarity is a superpower. If you know why you're there and what you're doing, then you know which direction to move. If you're just, and this again came up on Patreon recently with people that want to be writers. Okay, people that want to be teachers are just as bad. They don't want to do in the work. They don't want to put in the time. They don't want to develop the insight. They want to be called a writer, or they want to be called teacher. In martial arts, they want to be bowed to, and anyone who wants that has something wrong with them, in my opinion. And anyone who wants sycophancy, how would you even pronounce that?
I don't know.
You're the Harvard guy, anyway.
Thanks.
That's if that's something you crave in your life, then that's a mental illness.
Illness
But
or weakness? Character defect?
I actually consider it toxic. You can fuck yourself up and you can fuck up other people. So if that desire to have your ass kissed or to be bowed to, or however you want to phrase it, is a big part of your personality kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm running through a mental list of so many people I've met in the martial arts.
Right. And the martial arts specifically attracts that personality type. You know, and that's why it becomes such a toxic environment. You have the combination, and I said this so much, I'm sick of it, of that personality type coming into instructor, and also a student profile, some of whom are victims, and some of them are groomed victims, and some of them think that being victimized is a normal dynamic. That is a fucking horrible toxic combination. So, and again, the reason that we work together is because our goals are really similar. We want students to exceed us. We want students to grow up to be strong. We have all these images in our head about, for me, it's waking people up to the fact that they're fucking nearly infinite bundles of potential, with an almost complete ability to choose who they want to be. They just have to take that power. And I can't give them that power, but I can let them know it's there for the taking when they finally have the courage to do it. And that, you know, and this all bounds back to Paul's building strong people. And the selfish piece of it is just because strong people are so much less annoying than weak people. I'd much rather argue and fight with someone than have them whine at me.
So I get to follow that. Fantastic.
This is why I went first.
Yeah, no, you know, well, what can I say? I'm still figuring this.
You can also just run the clock out. We only got about 2.5 minutes.
This wisdom thing out. There's not enough gray up here. So I think the purpose piece is important for keeping ourselves on the rails, because my inner tyrant is strong and healthy and clever. So I have to constantly make sure that whatever it is that I'm doing, whatever thoughts I have, are disciplined to staying to those purposes. If it does not serve those purposes, it cannot, I got to find something else to do or find some way to either make it useful or just put it down. My drafts folder is jam-packed with useless bullshit that I thought was clever or insightful, but because it didn't line up with those purposes, I just put it to the side. And so for me, it's like the purposes make sure that I'm not becoming the bad guy. Because, and actually, Rory, good point. Part of the reason is because if you guys know my purposes, it's much easier for you to call me on my bullshit and me not have some clever fucking manipulative response. Because if you're like, Malcolm, this is not helping them get stronger, you're just telling them a bunch of shit that isn't useful, it's easier for me to catch it and be like, you know what, that's a good point. But when my purpose isn't clear, or even worse, my purpose is clearly nonsense, it's part of the reason that I gotta admit, this is a personal thing. I know money is a resource, but I hiccup on it being my primary reason to be here, because it would be so easy to do all the toxic shit. And that's still something I'm kind of trying to find a happy medium on, but I don't know how I would react to a version of me whose primary goal in this field was making money.
Put a pin in that, and we'll talk about it when we go private.
Yeah.
Because I have a specific way of looking at money now that helps.
Okay.
And the thing I typed that Malcolm was talking about is, I don't trust myself, especially when I have a goal that I think is important, because I will sacrifice anything if I think that goal is important. And I'll lose sight of the context. I'll lose sight of why the goal is important, because the goal is usually to help people, but sometimes that goal becomes more important than helping people. Right. And so you sacrifice people to help people. Makes no sense at all, but people do it all the time. And so what I have is you guys. You are my friends, and you are the ones that keep me on the rails. You're the ones that call me on my bullshit. You're the ones that keep me from jumping in head first all the time.
Yeah.
So friends.
So you're calling yourself Batman and we're the Justice League?
No.
Kind of.
I don't think.
I don't think he gets the reference, but yeah.
I haven't seen that cartoon since I was like 5, so probably not.
I'll sum that up real fast for you, Rory. There's an entire episode where Batman's plans on how to take down the Justice League get co-opted by a bad guy because Batman knows that he's got to be able to take down his friends just in case they go off the rails.
Well, yeah.
See that? So the answer is Malcolm, yes.
And so at the end of the episode, that he's walking out of the room with the rest of them, and they're all like, "Well, what's your, what happens
Superman
if you go off the rails?" And he
Superman
says,
specifically.
Superman says it, and he says, "My contingency is you guys. If I ever go off the rails, I expect you to stop me."
Right. On that note, Facebook and YouTube later.
If you think Rory would look cool in a Batman suit, please feel free to leave a comment.
Doesn't everybody look cool in the Batman suit?
No, I have photo evidence that I don't look cool in a Batman suit.
Okay.
On that note,
you got to get the right bat tailor.
Oh my God. It was like a cheesy concept, one ear's like this.
Wait, hold on. Before we go, do we have any comments that are worth sharing? Shout out to whoever was in the comments or wasn't.
Gabe Cohen actually had a bunch of things. Great power in recognizing, embracing, and harnessing your purpose, living the dream. And that was pretty much it. A bunch of people watching, but Gabe was the one actually commenting. So thank you very much for that, Gabe.
Agreed.
Yeah, cool.
Gabe's cool.
All right, guys.
All right. Later, y'all.